Welcome, everyone, to Stepping Into Your Leadership. I'm your host, Christine Courtney. Our goal here is to give you some actionable takeaways that will help you lead your teams. Thanks for joining us on this leadership journey. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to a very special January, or maybe it's early February now, but hopefully it's January by the time we get this out, episode of Stepping Into Your Leadership. I have Erika Bayh back in the studio. And last week, we started talking about the word of the year from Cambridge Dictionary called manifest. So if you haven't listened to that episode, please go back and listen to it. It'll give you a lot of context for this one. But I promised at the end of that one that we would come back this week with a lot of tips for manifesting or goal setting or getting your teams to set their goals and visions for the year, whatever it is. So I'm just going to put Erika on the spot and we're going to try to get as many, good ideas from her brain. And I have a couple of things that's worked for me or my teams in the past that we want to share. So this will only be about 10 minutes, guys, but get your pens ready, get ready to take some of these notes and let us know what works for you. So Erika, what's your best tip on either it's manifesting or goal setting that you haven't shared last week?
Well, to carry on from last week, we were talking about the getting rid of the notion that you have to have resolutions locked and ready to roll on December 31st into January 1st. In fact, if you did a rush on your resolutions, my first tip is maybe just throw those away and start with a fresh blank piece of paper at the end of January into early February. If you did what we recommended last week, which was write a letter as if it was already December of 2025, you want to read that letter and use it to pick clues for what your actual quote unquote resolutions or goals for yourself are. So really start fresh from this perspective of what is the way that I describe the year? And from there, I'm going to pick, so what do I need to do today? What's a daily activity I need to do? What do I need to do this month? And so really chunking out what are the steps that I need to take on a daily basis, on a monthly basis is a really great place to start.
Love it.
For a lot of us, we need to throw away the resolutions we made on December 31st and then start from a more realistic, grounded place.
Love it. And with that, I think it's great to have a little notebook that you carry around, one of those really tiny ones I always use. Some people use their phones. I've done both, where you just have a goal of, you just have a topic, rather, a title of manifests or goals or wishes or dreams or whatever you want to call it in your little notebook, and you put it in, or in your phone, which is always with us, God knows. And you just open that up whenever you think of something and you just put it in there. And you don't have to do anything with it, but you just put it in there throughout the year. I was recently traveling for work and I needed to write down a note that someone was telling me. And I pulled out a little notebook that was in my purse and it opened to a page of manifests that had written months ago. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so helpful for writing my, my New Year's, thoughts and wishes. So that's
Amazing.
A great idea. What else, Erika? What's another one?
So this is for the more woo-woo willing among us. Creating a vision board is a really powerful practice. Whether you're creating a physical vision board using cutouts from images you select online or images from magazines, or whether you do it as like a Pinterest board. So whichever way, the idea of creating a vision board means I'm selecting images that match the year that I want to have. And the reason why the vision board is so profound is because it's creating and amplifying the energy of the year. So simply by looking at the visual, I can see the energy that I'm trying to create. So for me, I do that as a physical vision board, and it lives on my bathroom mirror. So every morning, it's the first thing I see. But beyond that, I take a picture of a section of it that becomes my phone's wallpaper. So every time I pick up my phone, I see a snippet of the vision board. So it's the visual reminder of the energy that I'm trying to live into this year.
Love it. One thing that I love that's worked, and I have examples of 3 different audiences to do it with, but last year I did a 2024 bingo cards. I know some people have seen that. If not, you can go on the internet and see them, but you just make a bingo card. People do, now it would be 2025 bingo card. And instead of saying like, I want to lose weight or I want to do on your bingo card is like things that you want to attain or things that you want to have happen. It could be a family trip, or it could be, I want to have an adventure, with my husband, or I want to write a book, or whatever those things are that fill up, because there's a lot of spaces on a bingo card, right? And last year I did it with all my friends at New Year's, and I made them, and it was so much fun to share with each other what those were. And then now next time I'm with them, I want to go back and pull out those cards, because I took pictures of them. What did we do? What do we want to put on this year's card? And you just get to say, did I get, you don't have to have full card bingo, but did you get a vertical or horizontal or, diagonal? Did you get any? Did you get bingo? The other thing is, my friend did it with her family this year, and they all did it. And what a great way with kids and with adults, and she didn't tell them this beforehand, but afterwards she was like, whoever gets bingo first gets a family prize or something.
Amazing.
But don't tell them first, because if it was my kids, they'd write really easy things that they know they could win. And I've also done it with a business group. So I did it with all my business folks, and we did a modified version, and they shared with each other all their business goals, but their personal goals, their health goals, their financial goals, things like that.
The bingo card is such a fun idea that I actually put on my refrigerator this year what I'm calling the reverse bingo card. And it's got 25 squares. So my son chose to do a bingo card. My daughter did a vision board. So we all have different ways that we're kind of approaching our goals this year. But so the reverse bingo card, I have 25 things that we did. So it's what we're doing is actually throughout the year, we're going to write adventures or moments that we want to remember. So the reverse bingo is not, so it's the bingo card is, this is my wish. This is what I want to do. The reverse bingo is, I did that. And so we've got 25 for 25 that we're trying to go for.
That's great.
So that's a way to celebrate your moments, because we do a lot of, in conversations like this and in manifesting, we do a lot of in the category of wishing and seeking and desiring. And it's important to celebrate as well. And to really highlight the wins, the small moments, this is it. This feeling right now is it. And I want to speak it out loud. So a reverse bingo is one way that you can do that.
I love that, because we don't often look back, and sometimes we think, I've done nothing with my year. Next year will be different. But if you could start and go, oh, I have actually done more than I realized. So I love that.
Well, and you hear some people talk about making a jar at the start of the year and every week putting in some highlights from the week, but you don't pay any attention to it until New Year's Eve of the following year. To your point of, then you can go, I forgot about all of this. I didn't even remember that fun week or that neat conversation. But if you write it in and put it in a jar, that's another great way to remind yourself. We do a lot more than we ever remember.
I did that one year with the jar years ago when my kids were younger, right? And I've been dying every year. I bring out that jar to hope that we can pull out them and read them, and they can't stand it. They're like too ashamed of their like middle school self to read it. So it's just me pulling out one. They're like, don't read mine, don't read mine. So I still hold on to that jar.
I guess that's a know your audience cautionary tale. That jar won't work for every audience.
Well, no, the jar worked, but I don't know when I'm going to get to read them again. I have to do it by myself. I'll have to wait till they're like, have kids of their own, and then they're willing to laugh at themselves. And I think they're so sweet, and their little handwriting, like, I got a, A on my test, or whatever it was that they, wrote down. I scored a goal in soccer, whatever it was. The other thing I would say, and we each have one more, Erika, so get ready, is, this comes from Atomic Habits, James Clear's book, is just try to think of 1% improvement. And what he says is, don't let yourself go more than 1%. And that's really hard to hold back. But that method of like, I'm not allowed to say I'm going to the gym 7 days a week. He'll say, you have to put your gym clothes on is the first thing. And then he'll say, don't even go to the gym for the first week. You just get up and put your gym clothes on. And that's 1%. And maybe the next time you're getting in the car, and maybe the next time you're driving, he won't even let you get it. So by the time you're allowed to go to the gym, you're like, thank God, I've been dressing for it for a month. But anyway, his thing, and he's pretty well has proven it. And he has great stories in that book about like the US cycling team doing just 1% improvements over every part of what they do, and how they saw such great gains in their productivity and their effectiveness. So just think about what's 1% improvement each week that I can do, or, so anyway, that's 1%.
Well, so if I've got one more left, so Atomic Habits is a great book recommendation. So this is the time of year where a lot of times people are seeking literature to support what's the journey of the year. So Atomic Habits is a great one. So I'll end with another recommendation. So really one of the most profoundly impactful books I've read in the last year or so is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman.
Okay.
And the premise of 4,000 Weeks is that 4,000 weeks is the amount of time if we live an average lifespan. So if you live the average lifespan, it's only 4,000 weeks.
Oh my God.
And so the book is time management for mortals, basically. And it's so impactful because that's the kind of statistic that is really a gut punch, right? Because 4,000 weeks doesn't sound like anything. And so his point is, with every choice you make, with everything you're choosing to do, there's any number of things you're letting go of that you're simply not doing. You'll never be able to do it all. So you have to admit defeat from the start. And in admitting defeat, you are empowering yourself and giving yourself such freedom. And also the choices you make are so much better because you're recognizing that every choice is in sacrifice to a host of other things I could be doing. So if I choose to spend the next hour doom scrolling on social media, that's fine. But what are the other things that I sacrificed? And that time's never coming back.
Yeah.
So the book is really profound. It's a great way to kind of kick us in the pants to say, choose wisely because your time is limited.
Oh. All right. Well, we're definitely leaving on that note. Choose wisely as you manifest what you want in your 4,000 weeks and what you've got left of them. I'm making it 5,000. All right. So that's my first manifest. Erika, thank you so much for being here. Everybody out there, good luck in stepping into your manifestation, into your goals, and into what you want out of this life, what you want with your teams, and what you want as you lead your life towards those a powerful set of weeks, days, months, breaths. Thank you, Erika, so much.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'd like to give a special shout out to our podcast producer, Richard Francisco. Check out our notes for any details. And if you get anything out of this, please follow us. And if you enjoy it, please take a moment to rate us or write a comment. It will mean the world to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you just can't get enough, follow me on TikTok and check out tlpnyc.com/podcast for more information.